Welcome back to the ANS Way. We thought we would do a general update video in the lead up to Christmas and Anton's birthday as well, which is coming up soon. In this video, we're also going to reveal the location of where we're going to go. Recently, we posted a poll asking viewers to vote on where we should go and stay for a week. Okay, and in the vote, it was between Australia, Santa Cruz, San Diego and Phoenix, Arizona. So later in the video we will reveal the answer where the poll came up and where we'll be going.
We've just come back from Mexico. I think we did 10 nights there, which was a lot of fun, but we said this before when we went somewhere else. About day 7, I'm actually ready to come home. I love home now.
Yeah.
Whereas before, when I lived in the UK, I dreaded that last few days. The last 2 or 3 days, it felt like the holiday's coming to the end and you're like, oh no, I'm going back home now. Whereas 3-4 days before the end of our holiday, I'm thinking, I could go home and get on with my life now.
I can't remember, it was about 8 days in, I said to Anne, going forwards, if we do another trip, how long would you choose to go to Mexico for? How long would you feel was enough? And you said, actually, no, 5 nights is about enough. It is because we do look forward to coming back here.
Again, we still love living in the US, particularly Las Vegas. We flew out of Los Angeles, so we didn't actually spend much time there, but they do have exceptional food.
Yes,
very good food. Yeah. And food is considerably cheaper in California. Every single time we go there 4 or 5 times a year. It doesn't matter whether we're eating breakfast, lunch or dinner, it's significantly cheaper.
It's always cheaper. And not only that, it doesn't matter if it's a high-end restaurant or a casual place for breakfast, the service is on a different level.
We arrived back in Vegas a week ago.
Not even a week.
Not even a week ago. And naturally, once my sleep gets disturbed, I've not been sleeping. I then decided what would be really fun is to go back to jiu-jitsu and severely injure myself to the point I thought I detached a muscle in my back. So now, not only do I not sleep, I can't sleep.
I think he's enjoying it, clearly.
I'm enjoying it. It's horrific. It's not fun.
No, self-inflicted harm is what I call it. So I do not feel sorry for him at all.
You should feel sorry for him. On arrival, I was expecting it to be a lot colder. What's interesting, I don't know if you can see it through the car, it's raining, which is very, very rare. It's not real rain, it's just light.
Like drizzle. Yeah,
it's kind of drizzle. But it hasn't actually been that cold this year. I'm sure by December it was a lot colder last year. I was
really prepared to feel the difference coming back from Mexico. The weather was lovely in terms of the temperature, the humidity is so nice.
I tried to sell her on humidity when we moved into the US. I wanted to move to Florida or Texas. And your thing was specifically not because of the humidity.
I don't know if living in a place that's hot and humid would be nice permanently, but...
That's probably true.
Yeah, it is nice to get away, so that was really nice. But then coming back, I was convinced it was going to be freezing because the last 2 winters have been quite cold. But actually, it's been really mild.
It's 3 days away from Christmas.
I think so. We're terrible when it comes to Christmas.
For all holidays, I would say. I never know when they are. It's not that we don't celebrate them or don't enjoy them. It's just not really a major feature in our life. I guess we're detached from our family. We don't have children. So really we find out for our neighbours because they've got kids and then they'll invite us for certain things.
And I'm still adapting to what days are holidays, national holidays. So I didn't know today was a national holiday in the US. So it was great for me. I was like, okay, a day off. I've only been 4 days back at work. So.
I don't think I told you. So it wasn't an embarrassing moment. It would have been if I realised at the time. The second day I was in jiu-jitsu, or the first day, I can't remember. There's a guy here from Sweden and he was here on his honeymoon. He's been here for a month, or he's going to be here for a month, and he had popped in and he'd done some jiu-jitsu, bought his gear and everything. And we were talking for quite a length of time during our role, and we continued our conversation at the end. Just before he's leaving, I was like, oh, happy honeymoon and congratulations, and I hope you have a great holiday. He responded to me, happy holidays. And I looked at him and was like, why is this guy? Yeah. Maybe he's confused, he thinks I'm on holiday. I was like, I'm not on holiday. And he looked at me and then he walked off. I didn't even realise. I did not realise until 5, 6, 7 hours later. It was when I got home and I can't remember if I was showering, like, oh!
Oh no,
that's probably thinking I'm some weirdo. We never use the term happy holiday. We would say Merry Christmas.
And I've slightly adjusted a bit at work because in some ways it makes more sense because not everybody is celebrating Christmas, but then it is strange for me because in England I do consider that pretty much everyone's celebrating Christmas. So for me it's strange to say happy holidays. It's a very US term for me, but I believe it's a term that's being used more globally now.
Probably.
for the
Well, he's from
festive
Sweden,
season.
so.
I don't know.
Today we are out in the gloom to get some food for Christmas.
Yeah, so we thought it's just us two for Christmas this year, and I said, oh, I'll make something nice for Christmas Day. So we've come to one of the Asian supermarkets to collect all the things that I need for dinner. I'm making wonton soup. It's my mum's speciality. It's something that people in Mauritius make, I believe, or my mum has made up that people in Mauritius make as food.
No, I'm sure they do, because it would be the
yeah, it's a very mixed. Yeah, it's a blend of people on the island of Mauritius. And my mum has a really great recipe which I have adapted.
Your mum doesn't make up that they do things in Mauritius. Your mum makes up that it's Mauritian people that originate things.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter what it is. Mauritian people started it. And there was a time when I would fact check her on it. So I just pull up Google. It's never come from Mauritius.
We made this.
Yeah.
This came from Mauritius.
This is
We're the
Mauritian
first
food,
people.
yeah.
Well, people from Mauritius will understand this. We made everything, including wonton soup. But I make it all from scratch. So we've come to a local, well, I say local market. It's 20 minutes away to get all the bits. But yeah, this year will be a quiet Christmas for us. We're really pleased about it in a lot of ways. It's been quite a busy year, I feel, and it's really great. I loved having lots of friends and family. Especially, I loved having my sister, nephew, my family over here, and we had your friends as well. But it gets very tiring,
Yeah,
I'll be honest.
Very tiring having people in your house back to back. And because
it was back to back. That was
Yeah.
also the thing. We had what, 2 years of living here or more?
2 years of living here, and then everybody decided to come
In the
the
same
same
year.
months. Well, yeah, as in back-to-back
Back,
months, and
yeah.
they were here between a week and 2.5 weeks. Really, we were spending with people, and then we'd get back, have a few days, and then the next group of people.
Yeah.
And as much as you like having people around, we are quite solitary individuals. Well, we're paired, but
I realise I'm a very quiet person
Yeah.
naturally. I'm not a talker. I'm not naturally somebody who wants to talk a lot. He's a talker. He's
excessively. But it is quite nice to have a quiet Christmas. A really interesting thing happened when Selena's family were here. It was that her dad genuinely and deeply and honestly believed the United States was an active war zone on every street.
the Wild West.
And that will seem like, is it the word hyperbole? When you over-exaggerate something, but it's not. He genuinely, because we asked him and he's like, no, the reason I didn't want to come here, I thought you would just get shot. What, you thought that you land and they just
People
shoot
shooting
you?
each
He's
other,
like, kind of.
and then I asked him, well, why do you think that? And a lot of it is because he said, oh, I guess it's because of how the films portray the US and not helped by the actual news as well. And he definitely took some convincing. It's not. I knew he wanted to visit us and see us and how we
He
live.
didn't want to come to the US.
He was not keen. He's never really been interested, and we've met a lot of people we know from our channel. A lot of people are very anti-US for whatever reason, who have never even been here. That's the weird thing. So they've built up this picture, and he was one of those people. I think he ended up loving the place.
Out of everybody, he just fell in love with the place. I don't think he could believe he thought what he thought, and they just thought it was the cleanest.
Oh, my mum kept
organised,
saying,
yeah.
it's so clean here. It's so clean. I was like, yeah, mum, yeah. You're in Summerlin.
Yes, particular areas. But they all completely had a 180.
Yeah.
And they were just in awe of the place. And I think it's so far from what they had imagined it was. It was shocking for them. Every single day, multiple times a day, multiple times an hour, they would just be like, we can't believe it. It's so good
Yeah.
here. So much so that they were trying to work out if they could buy a house here and
Yeah.
retire here in the end. That didn't happen. It was
No,
never going to
it
happen. But they loved it so much that they wanted to consider moving out here.
The one thing they did notice though was about how expensive food is here. I guess this is quite topical at the moment because everyone's talking about the cost of living everywhere around the world, and I see a lot about what's happening in the UK. It's quite hard to describe just how expensive food is here.
Unbelievably expensive. And actually the Swedish guy, the only thing, him and his new wife are having a great time, but he just said, I cannot believe how much food costs here. And he was saying in Sweden, you can go out for a nice meal, 2 courses and drinks for about $45 to $50, I would assume you meant. And he said he struggles to get 2 burgers, fries, and a drink if you're in a sit-down menu for less than that. and he just couldn't believe it. It's the same for us. We go back to the UK.
Yeah.
In fact, we were back there a couple of months ago.
Everything seems so cheap when we go now.
It's so cheap. It feels like it's 2 to 3 times cheaper for the majority of stuff. Just to give an idea, this isn't a grocery bit, it's an everyday item. It's $7.50 for a can of deodorant.
Oh yeah, I asked Ant to go and buy deodorant. He's like, well, the first place, I think you even said it was more than that.
It was more than that. Yesterday, went to pick up eggs, which we've mentioned before. They were between $6. And whilst I was picking up the eggs, a guy was saying he'd just come from another shop where they were charging over $10 for 12 eggs.
I mean, the joke was when Ant came back with eggs, I was like, how much did you pay for this?
Yeah,
$30.
$30. You never know.
I don't know anymore. It's
if you
ridiculous.
think the cost of living in the UK is high, it's not even close. And the difference between 5 years ago and today, the percentage, I don't know what it is, but I would guess it's gone up maybe 50 to 100% for some things in the US, and maybe in the UK 25 or 30%. So although they do earn more money, they've been punished a lot more through this period of time. Which actually brings me on to another subject that's just shocking to me. We've mentioned cars and insurance a couple of times. We were told, oh, insurance is expensive in Vegas because of the drink drivers and the drug drivers and the bad driving. However, I've met a lot of people from other states who are paying very similar prices. This doesn't make any sense. We've been toying with the idea of getting a second car. For the last 10 years of our life, we've had 2 or 3 cars.
Yeah.
And although we can manage with 1 car, it would make life a lot easier to have 2 cars. Forget the payment of the car. Every car that I looked at was between $250 and $400 per month to insure a car. So I decided to go online and look, is this happening everywhere? Yes, it is. Nearly every state, people are paying between $200 and $800.
Yeah, I mean, it becomes a bit of a game for me, and he'll say, so how much do you think I got quoted from Geico for a Honda Accord?
A Honda Accord? A Honda Accord? $1,500 for 6 months insurance.
It'd be great for you guys, actually, for those of you that live in the States, to share how much you're paying for your car insurance. And if you are getting it cheaper, who through, what car do you have? It would be good to know.
It's just shocking to me because even if you can find a good deal, the cars are coming down rapidly in prices and there are reasonable cars to buy. But for the average person, I don't really understand. If you've got a family and you need 2 cars, which most people in the US, most families are going to need, how do you afford the payment and then the insurance, which is about the same as the payment? How is it affordable for people? I can't really see how we can afford it.
Yeah,
children.
And not to make this discussion go off on a different tangent, but it is interesting because obviously recently we released a couple of videos of why we would not choose to go back to the UK, and we still stand by that and the quality of life and everything, the positives. In the second video, we had to explain, we weren't talking about the other side of the US, we were talking from our perspective and how we are. That does not mean we do not get the issues in the US, and this week we were discussing about that difference. I watched a video this week about somebody talking about the impact of cost of living in the UK and how they're struggling, and then I was thinking about the US and just how much the prices have increased, and I was thinking about Vegas on a low-income family and they impacted them. In my opinion, they are more significantly impacted by that because they probably are struggling for healthcare. I don't know how much they're paying on rent for housing here, so we fully get that this can be a very punishing system, and if we feel the price increase, I can only imagine how it feels for others.
I'm quite conservative, right, in terms of my views in finance. However, this kind of stuff, a car is a pretty much a necessity in the US. Not so much in the UK. You can choose to live in other places. And at the point they're gouging you for insurance, it's not an option. Insurance isn't optional. So you've got a minimum, even if you buy a cheap car, of $300, $400, $500 a month that you're paying out insurance.
And then you need your car to live, to work. It's not even, I
genuinely don't know how people are managing those payments on an average income.
And finally, the big reveal. So we said at the beginning we would reveal the location we are going to test out living for a short period of time.
You didn't mention that, so you said stay in. So we're probably not going to move anywhere anytime soon. However, we would like to see if we've made the right choice. So what we were discussing multiple times when we're on our long trips to California, we discussed what would be a good video series, and one of the things we came up with was move to different locations that people choose to live and live there for a week. So don't do anything special, not the theme parks, just go and live there, rent an Airbnb and live there for a week or 2. And we thought, great idea, might as well start it in 2024. So we put a poll out.
The logic behind it was mainly around places that often other people have said to us and places we have liked as well. So we often, with living in Summerlin, Scottsdale in Phoenix, Arizona has often been mentioned to us as a possibility, a nice place to go. So we thought, okay, we'll put that out there. We had Santa Cruz, I believe, which...
No idea why Santa Cruz.
That was a me one. It's because my company's location's near Palo Alto. So I've often had a few people say to me, oh, Santa Cruz is a nice place to live. So
the only thing I know about Santa Cruz is the bikes.
Oh yeah, Santa Cruz bikes, yeah.
Mountain bike. San Diego, because that is somewhere we would potentially consider in the
it'd
future.
be quite
We're going to
serious
live
for us.
in California.
And the outlier, I would say, was Melbourne or Sydney, Australia. And that is genuinely because even before we got to the US, I think it's another one of those countries that you do seriously consider.
And lots of people talk about it. Pretty much anyone you speak to that's either lived there or considered loves or visited there absolutely loves it. So it seems like a
highly desirable location. And I personally know quite a few people that have either lived in Australia or relocated to Australia. I actually had somebody telling us we should do it instead of America.
And in one of our videos we did mention that an option if you can't get into the US because it's a little bit more difficult, particularly for people in the UK, is try Australia. It's very easy for British people with any skills to get into Australia.
I'll be honest, the reason I've never really seriously considered Australia is because of spiders. I'm not going to lie. The bugs in Australia are just not appealing to me. And whenever I've asked anyone that's lived in Australia, they've always said, yeah, it's pretty bad.
So, as you can probably tell by how much we've gone on about Australia, we're going to go to Australia, and that's because that was the vote. It was a long way ahead. I think
I'm surprised, actually.
42% of the votes. We haven't checked it for a couple of days, but most people have gone Australia, Australia, Australia. The next one was Phoenix, Arizona.
I think that was the second.
But that's very easy for us to do. So we've decided, why not jump on a plane, go to Melbourne. We'll probably go to some other places, but we've now booked our plane tickets.
We've booked the ticket.
They're obscene. They're insane. I don't understand how are people affording this? Well, we say this whilst affording it, but I just don't understand. A premium ticket is $3,500 and a business ticket is $10,000 US to fly 15 hours to Australia.
Yes,
which is ridiculous.
It's a lot of money to go, but we're actually quite excited for it. We've never been. It's somewhere that people have always spoken about, and we'll get a chance to see for ourselves.
For anyone that either lives there that watches that video, I don't think we have that many Aussies.
I'm not sure.
Or has
say hi
visited.
if you're from us.
Yeah, if you visited there, let us know where we should visit. So let us know within Melbourne where we should go to if there's some great spots, or if there's places that are local, so within a couple of hours drive, or if you can get the train there. We forget about transport. We live in the US. There's no public transport, and I forgot when I looked. They've got trams and boats and trains, which is weird.
And it looks nice. It really does look nice.
Hope you've enjoyed the update. Thanks for watching.